our next session. This is the Art of Right-Sized Living with Annette Kramer of Caring Transitions. Annette owns Caring Transitions, a home transition service that helps seniors and their families sort, declutter, organize, relocate through packing and resettling, liquidate with estate sales and cleanups. Caring Transitions' trademark is to provide these services with dignity and respect. And Annette will share ideas for the art of right-sized living today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here today. A little bit of background. I am married. I have 3 adult children. And my son just recently bought a house. And this is how their generation is. He sat me down one day when we were visiting him and he said, "Mom, don't bring me any more crap." So I asked once. If they say no, I let it go. But anyhow, today we're going to talk about the art of right-sized living. Are you right-sized?
No.
Are you all right-sized? No. And everybody asks me, what does that mean? Living comfortable in your space. Okay? Like works of art, we are each unique. All our lifestyles are different. We all like different things, and that's what makes it so great, that we're all diversified like that. So our houses should also be, or our spaces should also be unique. Yet we share common transitions, major life transitions. You know, you lived with your parents until you graduated high school. Some went to college, some went, got married, started their family. Everybody has those basic transitions through life. So what's next? Today, home transitions such as downsizing, relocating, and remodeling are accepted rites of passage in later life. Just talking to a lady the other day, she's ready to sell her business, she's ready to sell all of her house, everything included in that, and she said she's just going to retire and live in a tiny house on wheels. And she said, yeah, on wheels. And she said, this is my next rite of passage. Like you go from that kindergarten graduation to that 8th grade graduation to high school graduation. It's always a rite of passage. But changes often brings obstacles. What's holding you back? Why aren't you making that change? What are your obstacles? Okay, maybe today I can help you figure that out. A lot of times when we get to this age, we want to choose how to move. Do we want a smaller home? I know I do. I want a smaller home, but I told my husband we're not retiring to anything less than 20 acres because he will drive me insane. So, because he will be following, because he likes to cook and clean, and if I don't clean it good enough, I'm like, okay, no, you have to have your hunting, we have to have our woods, we have to have a field, whatever. So, tools that can help us. Downsizing and right-sizing. Okay, how do we downsize? How do we get to that right-sizing? Tools we can use, estate sales maybe, online auction maybe just a clean out. Okay, every family is unique, every situation is unique. We have to go what works with us. I've had clients tell me, don't want an estate sale, don't want people walking in my house, nothing like that, privacy. And I've had other people, yeah, let's do an estate sale, let's have all these people, tour my house, maybe it'll sell quicker. My home will sell quicker. And then some people, there isn't enough there between them relocating and them, the grandchildren, and mostly grandchildren, because enough of the children have enough of their own stuff. They're like, I don't want any more, So a lot of people, they take, and then there's not a lot left. So the best option for those people are donation. Take the write-off. You'd probably get more with the write-off than you would in an estate sale. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So downsizing and right-sizing. Right-sized living. The size of your house is not related to the size of your soul. But the condition of your dwelling does reflect the condition of your being, of your mind, of your body, and your spirit. Right-sizing is the first step in moving to a smaller space. It means establishing a living space that meets today's needs and which includes comfort, safety, and personality. I always tell my clients, as long as you're safe and as long as you're social. Okay? If either one of those starts to waver or you start to have an issue with that, then you want to look into moving into a different place, a community. I'm a big advocate for communities. I'm kind of passionate about it because I see the benefits of communities. I moved a couple 2 years ago, and I just saw them like this last month. My gosh, I was surprised. I'm like, how are you doing? I was surprised. They look 10 years younger. Regular food. Good, regular socializing. They're only an independent. She has early onset, or she has Alzheimer's, not really early onset because she's in her late 80s. But she has Alzheimer's. She has access to a daycare on campus on a regular basis. Her husband can go and do his thing while she's there. They've got help. They've got socializing. I really, really believe in communities. The last time we lived right-sized in a dorm room. In a dorm room, right? You had what you need where you needed it. It was right there. You could come and go as you pleased. For the most part, you were probably comfortable back then. All right? Consider your next home a self-portrait. What's your self-portrait going to look like? Again, we're all unique. We're all individuals. Working with a client now, we're going to be moving him the first part of June. His wife passed away about a year ago. And I can tell he's grieving and the little things he's saying here and there and stuff like that. But he's on 40 acres. He says, he's got to mow the lawn every 3 days. He can't do, fun stuff and enjoy himself and things like that. But I noticed when I was doing the consult with him, he had a deer mount and snowshoes. And, he had this all on in his house. And I said, well, let's move that deer mount to the independent living. Let's move those snowshoes. He insisted on this corner bar he has, which goes underneath the deer mount and stuff. I said, let's do it. Let's move it. And then I noticed he had statues of various, like a bear and deer and these little statues. I said, well, let's move those. Let's make this Jerry's house. Let's make it your home, your comfort. So like, like all of us, we have certain likes. Some like pizza, some like puppies, some like ice cream, different things. What is your self-portrait? What is your home going to look like? Steps to right-sizing. Okay, let's determine our space. What is our space? Whether you're aging in place, this works for aging in place or moving, what does your space look like? First, what do we need? We all need clothes, right? But how much clothes? I just read something the other day. We wear 20% of our clothes 80% of the time. So really, do we need all that clothes? Keep that in mind. Did an estate sale about 3-4 years ago for a lady. And she was a widow, had been a widow for a number of years, had no children. 2 6-foot closets full of clothes. In her basement, she had a clothesline full of clothes. We packed her, we moved her. I gave her 2 garment boxes. I said, this is all that's going to fit in your apartment. So whatever you can fit in there, that's it. And then I told her, so then we moved that, and then we did the estate sale. After the estate sale, at $1, $2, $3, and $4 worth, we donated well over $4,000 worth of clothes. A lot of them had the tags on. That was her social. That was her social, the shopping and things like that. But she picked out what she needed. And out of what she needed, she picked her favorite clothes of what she loved. Okay? So determine what you need. We all need a bed, we all need a chair, things like that. And then what do you love? Okay, you've got grandma's china from, the turn of the century. It's packed away in a box and it's back in the closet. How can you love it back in the closet? You can't even see it. Okay? You need to bring those out and display them. Personal story. As a young married wife with a new baby, we bought a home, and my first reaction was, wow, 9 closets. And through the first 20 years of marriage, I filled those closets. But in the last 6 years of owning this business, my closets are almost empty right now. And I'm loving the pieces I have out. Bought a curio cabinet, got a few pieces from my grandmother that I have displayed, a few pieces from my mom I have displayed. Use the china on a regular basis. I can remember my son at age 9 coming up to me and saying, what are those dishes in that cabinet for? And I said, well, that's my china. We never use them. So every holiday, I don't care, that one Christmas, we were out sledding, we're all sweaty and sweatshirts and stockings and all that stuff, and we pulled out the china for Christmas Eve dinner. Sloppy Joe's, whatever it was, I can't remember, chili. But anyhow, I bring out that china, I use it. When I relocate people, I look at them and I say, let's take your china and we'll sell your everyday dishes. Last estate sale I did, I had 2 sets of china and 3 sets of stoneware. Didn't sell a single one, sold one. Sold 1 set to a Mennonite family, and I think the couple just got married. So china isn't a big deal nowadays to this generation. Woo. Sorry. Okay, so then enjoy and love, and then if there's room, then we're going to add our wants. But a lot of times, if we have what we need and what we love, that takes care of the wants. So then you need to modify for space. Just talked to a lady yesterday, and her parents want to move to a community, to independent living, and the dad insists on taking his king-size bed. And she's like, Dad, I don't know if we can do that. And he goes, well, what about dressers and stuff? The daughter said to him, and she said, if we take your king-size bed, there won't be room for dressers, So those something to keep in mind to modify for space. Okay, after you picked out things, you decide to age in place, for example. And sometimes aging in place is a process of just rearranging the furniture, eliminating a couple of pieces so you can get the walkers around or the wheelchair around, different things like that. I know the whole construction business now is getting into the universal design. And if you look at some of these new communities that they're building out there now, they're even raising the dishwashers. Dishwashers, washers, and dryers are all on platforms. The handles are not knobs anymore, they're levers and things like that. Most doors are 3 feet wide, things like that. I can relate to that. Had ankle surgery about 3 years ago, was on crutches. My doctor didn't trust me, so I never got a walking cast. So she wanted me off that for 6 weeks. And I couldn't shower. I had a step-in shower, but I couldn't shower without my husband's help. The doorway was too narrow to get into the shower area, and then I had a shower door on there. So there was no way, you know, even with the crutches to get through the door. I had no grab bars, nothing that I could. So I had to wait for him every day to help me when he had time, working a full-time job, plus he farms. So it was kind of like, you got time? It's been a day, it's been 24 hours, I need to get in a shower, you know. So anyhow, those are some things to keep in mind when you're aging in place or downsizing. Professional estate sales, average estate sale in central Wisconsin a couple years ago were about $5,000. It's coming down. That was gross proceeds. It's coming down. My staff and myself, we can spend a couple hundred hours cleaning, sorting, decluttering, staging, prepping for an estate sale. It's really not always the answer, but you know, look at all your different options. Maybe there's a buyout person. They'll come and take everything and take it away. I don't have a warehouse, I can't do that. An online auction, pick your more collectible, more sellable prices, not sellable prices, sorry, your more sellable objects, and put them online, and you could sell them that way. Just remember though, the value is only in what someone is willing to pay for it, okay? Everybody goes on, but on eBay it says, and it says, but did it sell? Were there any bids? Okay, I had a lady, the daughter called me and asked me to do a consult with her mother and her sister, and they were trying to convince her mom, you know, to get rid of stuff, which included tubs and tubs and tubs of Beanie Babies. She thought she was gonna fulfill her retirement. She was gonna live her retirement on the sale of Beanie Babies. I don't think she liked me too much because my suggestion to her was to find a flea market, set up a table, and sell them 5 for $10. You know, Beanie Baby, that was the best marketing ploy that TY Toys did many, many years ago. Bradford Exchange, same thing. Collector plates. You know, if I can't sell china, how am I going to sell a collector plate? Hummels. Had an online auction for Alzheimer's last year, and I had a Hummel set up, Hummel thing. The winning bidders said, because they had to pay shipping, so a little Hummel figurine like that and a couple little, she said, oh, I just want this piece, just ship this piece to me and you can keep the rest. She didn't want the Hummels, she didn't want the little Hummel photograph, pictures, nothing like that. So, you know, I realized in their day they were valuable, you know, but now it's not as valuable. Did this presentation, about a month and a half ago, and this sweet 90-year-old lady said to me, she goes, don't you think our children and grandchildren are gonna be upset that they don't have these antiques? And I'm like, not really. It doesn't mean anything to them. They never had to use it. And so that's, you know, that's kind of the deal. So you got to figure out what would work the best for you. And again, everyone's unique and every situation is unique. If you can find those collectors, if you can find those buyers. When I go on consults and people say, but so-and-so told me it was that much. I said, tell them, show me the money. Take it. Buy it, take it, and we'll continue on. So, whoops. Oh well. Okay, moving forward. Embrace your decision to either move or age in place, and then you take control of the process. These decisions are yours. Okay, improve today's space by right sizing. Determine, do we want to purge? Do we want to liquidate? Do we need an estate sale? Do we want to do an online auction? Do we want to do just a clean out with a donation? Okay, establish a timetable. One thing I'm finding out right now in today's real estate market, please, please have a place to move to if you're going to move before you put your house on the market. I've gotten a lot of calls in the last year. So I put my house on the market, I thought we had 6 months before it would sell, and now I have no place to live. My house sold in 3 days. The estate sale we just did, the house never even went on the market. Somebody found out the house was vacant, went to the realtor, and it was sold. And I'm hearing a lot of that. People find out a house is for sale, and the market right now for real estate is $100,000 to $200,000 houses. They're going in just days or a week. So keep that in mind when you're with your timetable. If a clean out or anything like that, like I said, remember, if I have a staff, it could take us a couple hundred hours to do the clean out or, liquidate and stuff like that. So you're going to want a little time. You're going to want, and I always like an overlap when you're moving. So, you move out on the 15th, give yourself 2 weeks. What if I forgot something I really want? Or this would really fit in this place and it's back in the old house. Don't do your move date and then the close date, right away. Give yourself a little overlap. It's worth the money. It's worth the money. Get some friends and family to help. Sometimes, friends will say, oh, I really like that, or, enjoy it with them. I get a lot of this, oh, when I die, my kids will take care of it. They'll liquidate, they'll take all my stuff. It's good stuff. They want that stuff. My very, very first consult when I started this business was a prominent family in the Wausau area. And she wanted an estate sale of her mom and dad's stuff. They had both passed, and she was moving into the house. She said to me, she goes, Mom and Dad had really, really great stuff, but it's not my style. What a blessing that they raised that daughter to be her own individual person. So don't ever be hurt when your children say, Mom, Dad, I've got enough of this stuff. Or, it's not me, Ask the grandchildren. Like I said to my children, I ask them once, and then if they say no, then it's gone. I give it to whoever wants it or sell it or whatever I can do that way. But involve family and friends. I've had clients where I pack them up and the friends have moved them. So you can do it, you can do all different ways.
One solution I have for giving to we're on great-grands of that now, but is for their birthday or for Valentine's Day or Easter, whatever, I allow them one of the things that they want. That's what they get.
Oh, nice.
And so that way, you don't get rid of lots of stuff in a hurry, though.
Right, right.
But at least, in case there's something they do want, and they don't think of it when you hit them with, do you want this? Then you can have them pick one of them for these things. Saves me from shopping, I hate shopping.
That's a good idea.
Easter and all this kind of stuff. And that way they can take the things that they want.
Yep. I share stories of my folks because I don't have client confidentiality with them. But anyhow, we moved my parents to independent living, about 5 years ago. And we were cleaning out after they moved, we were cleaning out their apartment and their garage. And I found a couple of tubs of Christmas decorations. And I took them up by my mom and I said, Mom, I said, this is from your big tree and you know, you haven't had a big tree like this in years. So what should we do with this? Well, it just so happened that my brother and sister-in-law were there, and my brother was going to be having confirmation for one of his grandchildren. And I said, oh, here, you guys take this and see what you can do. There were 4 granddaughters, great-granddaughters that were graduating college, you know, or in that age group, and they had a ball. And my mom was there to witness them oohing and eyeing and grabbing and, you know, and it was so much more joyous than, oh, they can do it when I'm dead, you know?
Celebrate while you're alive.
Celebrate, exactly. So incorporate, you know, there are things they do want, but if they don't want it, it's nothing against you and stuff like that.
They might just take 1 or 2 things rather than this big carton that you bring to them.
Right.
Invariably, especially in Christmas decorations, many of them, these came from these same children over the years, and maybe Grandma doesn't remember who brought what, but
Yeah.
anyway, any opportunity you have them take whatever they can take.
I was doing that for a while, and then my mom looked at me one time. I said, Mom, you don't want that anymore? And she said, no, I don't, but you can't have it because you'll take it to Goodwill. But now she's like, you know, okay. But I understand it. She's 94. And they lived without for many, many years. She's also made the comment to me, that's too good to donate. But then I looked at her and I said, but that's expensive storage. So different things to keep in mind. And if you don't feel that you have to do it alone, a professional can help you make those determinations too. So, our home, I didn't want it to do that. Our home is our self-portrait. It reflects who we are, what we value, and that's a picture we can hang anywhere. So just like my client who's going to put his deer mounts and everything up, do a self-portrait of your home, your living space. And in right sizing, share the joy with your children and grandchildren. Any questions? Oh, this is the fun part. I wish. Does anybody have any questions at all, or?
Is there a website to this?
It's Caring Transitions, Central Wisconsin. .com. On the back of your handouts, there's tips on how to right size and stuff. So again, that I talked about it. You know, how to let go. When we go in to start sorting, decluttering, and organizing, anything ripped, torn, broken, stained, you know, we throw it away. It's sad to say there is usually a dumpster at every site because we hang on to those things.
Well, that's the problem. It seems to be too good to throw away and not good enough to give to Goodwill.
Right, right. And I
So
get
they
it.
still wear it.
Yeah, and I get it, and I understand. You know, I've been on both sides as a consumer and a business owner, and it's that happy medium that we've got to reach. I can give you some, the lady that started before me, your first lady boy, she was talking about stress. We sure can relieve that stress. We were helping a lady. Her mother had to go into assisted living, and we were helping this lady clean out her mom's apartment. We were going to donate everything that was left after the move, and she tried to help us, and she goes, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. I don't know this. She was so overwhelmed by the whole process that, you know, I finally said, that's okay. I said, why don't you just go visit your mom, spend the time with your mom, and we'll take care of this. And that's what we did. So that, you know, I've had people come up to me and she goes, oh, we cleaned out grandma's house. It took us 6 months. You know, I have access to staff. The reason it takes so long, I love Hallmark, those commercials. Okay, the gentleman has got the trailer outside and he's hauling the stuff to the truck, the trailer, the moving trailer, whatever. And the daughters are upstairs looking, oh, Dad kept this card. Oh, Dad kept this card. You know, so that was an hour later, and he's still hauling by himself, and the girls are still doing the cards, you know. And that's what happens to all of us, and that's natural. This estate sale we've just finished up at the end of April, the comments from the client were, I take pictures of everything. I take digital pictures of everything. And I do a pre-sale inventory, and then I do advertising pictures and donation pictures. Her comment on the survey was, please send us a flash drive of those pictures because all of our memories. It just brought back all of our memories, just seeing the items. You know, they were willing to let go of everything, but now they've got pictures. And a flash drive is how big? So, you know, things like that. So it's okay, junk mail. I know we talked earlier, junk mail. I did this presentation a couple years ago, and a lady shared with me that they had just kind of collected all the junk mail they got in them, you know. And she had like 600 pieces of mail.
Some away and still can't keep them.
What you do is you open it up, right on there, remove me, stuff it all back in, and send it back to them. They have to pay. Don't put any postage on it. They have to pay the postage. Okay? So, or you grab right from the mailbox, right to the recycle bin. Don't even bring it in the house. You know, that'll help with your junk mail and clutter. And don't feel guilty if they've got mailing labels. That's okay. That's on them. A dime or a penny or yeah, whatever. Spend the money, you know, whatever. But yeah, and once you donate to one, like the Indian children in Arizona, they sell those lists to other people. That's why it ends up it's like rabbits. They multiply.
And the mailman always says, but that's my bread and butter.
Okay. There's a lot of recycling, and I know the Depression era generation doesn't believe in rummage sales and garage sales, but if your kids are having it, go ahead. But rule is, once it's in the garage, it doesn't come back in the house. So I also have used if you buy one, you eliminate two. So if you buy a pair of shoes, you have to give up 2 pairs of shoes. Yeah, do it that way. So there's all kinds of ideas on the back of that handout I gave you. And any other comments or questions?
Do you have any strategies? We've tried to help my mom to probably should be, in a smaller place, but she doesn't want to right now. And we've tried to, that junk mail issue, there's just stuff all over, even from decades ago. And she gets mad at us when, she feels like we're taking control. Have you had those experiences, or, and do you have strategies on how to temper that? But, we're trying to make her life easier so she doesn't have to sort through all that same stuff all the time, so.
Yeah, my mom saves newspaper clippings, and I think I've got her away from that, and I said, Mom, don't do that, because if it's on the internet. Anybody who, the grandchildren or whatever, they'll go on the internet and they'll print it out if they want it, and stuff like that.
Yes, it's not that they have to go on the internet, but it's available to them.
Right. Another thing is to depersonalize. It's not your home, it's the house. It's not grandma's car, it's the car. The more you use that kind of language, the more they're like, well, it's just stuff. I can let go of that. It doesn't mean anything. You have to depersonalize things. If you're helping a loved one and stuff like that. Depersonalize and.
Could you pick out all the junk mail and take it with you when you left? That way she couldn't keep it, put it back. And
Yep.
at least that much would be gone.
Yep. We have done that. Every time my sister would go visit my mom and dad, or I would go visit, we'd take a bag and we'd put all their junk mail in there.
See, I'm still at the stage that I still wanna, preserve her dignity and not take over, although she needs us to take, to help her. So I don't know. I don't know if she would notice, Sharon, that her junk mail is gone. Where did that go?
Well,
And
I'm
then
not
she'd worry
saying
about
all,
it.
I've got piles of it. You can
Yeah.
come to my house and take my junk.
It'll be like my mom's, I'll feel it.
And so you could come over and take part of it, and I'm not saying go spend all your time looking through and taking that out, but just take a wad and put it in a plastic bag. I got plastic bags you can have.
Yeah, anything that helps, but, Sierra was talking earlier about relieving stress. Going from 9 closets full to hardly anything full. And I can reach in my closet and grab what I want within seconds. Man, my anxiety level is lower. It's a lot lower.
Yeah, your stuff ends up owning you if you have too much, because you
Correct.
have to take care of it.
Correct.
And that's what happens to my generation, because we worked so hard.
Right.
In World War II and before, there was such a shortage of things. And so you worked, you got something good, and even though it was slightly worn, you replaced it, but you stashed it.
Right.
Mhm.
I had my attic so full. My husband said at one point, now this was 20 years ago, you get at that attic. If we don't get that out, it goes or you go. And I'm still here, so maybe you just sent her back.
You can't say that to your mom.
Yeah,
So Dorothy, have you gotten over that now?
Yes, very much so.
And how did you do that?
It's just because I'm overwhelmed by what I have. My house is way too big for me. I have too much stuff. And because we had the most space, many relatives, if there was a death or something, they dump it off on us, what was left, because we had storage space, and they would get it later. So we just have all kinds of little junky things all over. So I'm thinking, well, that's not mine. They're not here anymore. Why should I worry about it?
Yeah.
So if I had a little bit more help, I think I could get it out a little faster.
There's a ministry for us, so I'll come over and help you out. He could do that. He could do that.
Now the same son who told me not to bring him any more stuff, he's gonna be on vacation next week. I'm gonna pack up all of his stuff that's at my house, and I'm gonna load up his truck. He's got a basement now. He can sort through it at his leisure at his house. Well, thank you all very much. Pardon?
Quick comment, I was gonna say, my mom was one of those, like most of us, had the camera, so we have photo albums, tons of photo albums. We got them all made into a video.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to give up those photos, but she can watch the video. We also, with the newspaper clippings, we bought her a scanner. Any of the papers that she wants, and she has more fun, she scans it, gets on her computer. She puts it on a little zip drive and she can go back through and look at it, but then she doesn't have to do all the stuff at the house.
Right, right. Lately, I've been running into a lot of the slides that,
Yeah.
you know, and VHSs, actually, those are, I just had all my VHSs put on DVDs. And I've been having so much fun watching my kids, my daughter at 3 going, ball, chain, or whatever it is. So, yeah, those are some solutions.
My mom just gave me a whole bunch of pictures. She said, I want you to have all the pictures. And it's, you know, like stacks and boxes and albums of pictures. What can you do with them?
You can put them on, like she was saying, you take them to a person and they'll scan them in. And they'll scan them on and put them on a flash drive or a DVD, or the digital frames are nice where they can sit on the dresser and then they just do like I did a slideshow.
So where would you take them? Like
Uh,
office or somewhere?
I'm not sure, there's some places online.
In this area.
Yeah, I think there's one in the mall by that kind of kitty cornered across from Bethesda. It's a photography place. I think they do that.
There's a guy on Grand next to the coffee shop too called
Yeah.
Winter Spring Studios.
Yeah.
I took things there.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of options out there, you know, and it's not cheap.
Because I
You know.
think I'm avoiding, it's like, okay, got this big bunch of stuff in the corner closet here, and one day I'm gonna go through them and try to decide what to do with them and what's important and everything, but it's like,
Sure.
what to do with them.
And a lot of times when we're on vacation, we were snap, 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 and there's only 2 or 3 pictures that really mean anything. You know, so you can throw those away. It's okay. You can throw photographs away.
Before you do that, take them to whoever is doing the genealogy of your family. It used to just drive me crazy when people would throw away. Now, I would have gone through and probably wouldn't kept them all, but we lost so many pictures of the older generations because somebody dumped a whole garbage can full of pictures.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
Yeah.
Depends on what's important.
it depends. Yeah, it's different for everybody. Interesting thing, I did all about seniors Thursday, and we were talking to the lady from the funeral home, and she said the children would come up to her with these big portraits of great grandpas and grandmas and things like that, and they'd like, we don't know them, what do we do with them, or whatever. And she said they've been putting them in with the person. They've been putting them in with the person, or like she said, wedding dresses too, right in at their feet. She's been putting things like that at their feet and stuff. So
Yeah, I had quite a rude awakening of the difference in cultures when our kids moved in with us at one point, and they wanted to rearrange the house and organize it because they were going to have a baby. And the things, you know, I was like, you can't give, you know, it's like, okay, we're just going to throw everything out. You know, they don't believe in like the canister sets and stuff. They wanted Tupperware. They said Tupperware is the thing now, and it's just a rude awakening because they didn't grow up in the same way, and so they, you know, they figure if they don't need it and want it, you know, there's no use for it at all. Where, you know, it's really a huge difference what you think is important to the kids versus what's important to you versus what's important to your parents.
to your parents, yeah, yeah. And they always say, oh, that generation. It's no different. You know, it's just, our parents are like, really, you don't like that? And, you know, we love that stuff, you know.
Right.
And it is. Their generation, the Depression era generation, richness was having stuff. They had to do the chores. They didn't have the opportunity to travel like this generation does now. And experience. This generation, they call them the millennials, they want experiences. The previous generation, they entertained. You know, everybody came over for Sunday dinner, and so you had got your china out, your cut glass, you know, your serveware and stuff like that, you know. Now entertaining is, well, let's go and have pizza, or let's go to the Italian restaurant, or whatever.
I got all these big, nice plates, you know, cookie plates and stuff, which I don't even entertain anymore, because we have no room. But no, you know, the kids don't have any use for them either. You know?
Right, yeah. The last couple of estate sales in the last 2-3 years cut glass. Our displays never get changed. They walk right by them, you know, so. Thanks again. Sorry.